Earth Is Ghetto, Episode 31. Every time ancient history comes up, someone asks the same question: who came first? That question sounds curious, but it's not innocent. It's colonial. Because the land never asked who arrived first. The land remembers who lived. In what is now southern New Mexico, scientists uncovered human footprints, dated to 21,000 to 23,000 years ago. Not tools, not bones, but feet. Children, adults, families, walking the shoreline of an Ice Age lake, once called Lake Otero. These prints were dated using seeds trapped above and below them. Multiple layers, multiple labs, same result. This means humans were already living in the southwest, while massive ice sheets still locked the north. Not passing through, but living. This is where people jump ahead. The story about Siberia and the Bering Strait, that movement comes later. When these footprints were made, the world was in the deepest freeze of the Ice Age. The inland ice-free corridor hadn't opened yet, so nobody was walking straight down from Siberia into the southwest at this time. Genetics shows people lived in and around Beringia in the far north, but their large-scale movement south happens after White Sands. This isn't a contradiction. White Sands tells us humans were already here. Beringia explains later ancestry for many indigenous nations. These are layered chapters, not competing stories. These people lived before the land changed, before the Great Melt, before rising waters reshaped basins, rivers, and coastlines. Science calls this Ice Age flooding. Many indigenous nations remember these changes through flood stories. Not one flood, many waters, many transformations. However you name it, Ice Age flooding or the Great Waters. These footprints come from before the reset. They walked a world that no longer exists. This land wasn't called New Mexico. That name came thousands of years later. This was a green basin, fresh water, grasslands, a homeland, and the indigenous nations of this region never describe themselves as arriving. They say something else. Pueblo peoples, Apache peoples, nations whose homelands include this land, they don't tell stories of crossing into this place. They say, we have always been here. That's not metaphor, that's memory. Western science measures time. Indigenous knowledge holds continuity. Arrival is a colonial idea. Belonging is an indigenous one. Christopher Columbus never came here, not even close, but others did. Alvar Núñez, Cabeza de Vaca, 1542. They are very tall and well-proportioned, and of great strength. He described people at home. Pedro de Castañeda Coronado, Expedition 1540. They are people of good height and well-built, darker than the Spaniards. Brown-skinned indigenous people, established and adapted. Spanish colonial records, New Mexico 1600s, dark and brown in complexion and accustomed to the sun and land. These descriptions repeat across decades. Dark brown, copper, not foreigners, not newcomers. Centuries later, colonial systems tried to divide humanity into boxes. Black, white, Asian, but those categories did not exist when these people were described. Spanish writers weren't seeing Africans or Asians, they were seeing indigenous diversity. Dark-skinned indigenous people, lighter brown indigenous people. Same land, no hierarchy. These nations traded, married, shared ceremonies, shared land. They weren't asking who came first. That obsession came later. Who came first exists to rank, claim, and remove. You don't ask a river who got there first. You listen to how long it's been flowing. White Sands didn't start this story, it confirmed it. Before borders, before race, before arrival, dark-skinned indigenous people were here. Brown indigenous people were here. Lighter brown indigenous people were here. Together. Earth is Ghetto. Every Monday at 7 p.m.